We do begin the story right after the American Revolution.
In 1784, the Empress of China set sail for Canton. It was the first U.S. merchant vessel to travel to China.
This is a fan that had come back from that first trip, and the image on the fan, we believe, is the only existing contemporary image of the Empress of China.
The voyage marked the beginning of a long-standing trade relationship. Chinese immigration to the U.S. came decades later, but was cut short by discrimination.
Through the recreation of an immigration inspector's office and a detention barracks, the exhibition highlights the extraordinary hurdles only the Chinese had to jump over when wanting to enter the country.
Hurdles created by the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 that forbade Chinese laborers from entering the country. Only merchants, teachers, and diplomats were allowed in, but they faced challenges too.
They would ask them very specific questions about perhaps their home village, about people in the village, people who were sponsoring them to come into the country. But these questions were so detailed that even somebody who technically was eligible to enter the country probably needed to study up.
No other immigrant group at the time faced such rigorous questioning.
This takes place in my father's laundry in the Bronx.
The museum chose to illustrate the Chin family's experience through a graphic novel because they were particularly adept at keeping documents.
They had heard that my family had a very rare artifact, and it's something we call a coaching book, which was a book of questions and answers, and it's particular to my family, but they're questions that someone might be asked when they were interviewed coming through immigration in the United States. My family, I think, always felt that history was important. And I think the other reason, though, is that because of the exclusion laws, it was important for them to have these documents to prove their right to be here.
Who has the right to be in the United States? What does it mean to be American? These were questions debated in the early days of America's history, but are still being discussed today.
There was a time when people didn't really think that this was worthy scholarship. But since the generations have passed, it's become clearer that this history is something that all Americans need to know about.
The exhibit will be in New York until April 19th and is then scheduled to travel to other parts of the United States. KARINA Huber, CCTV, New York.